What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm gonna go over, is life insurance taxable in Canada? And stick around to the end because I'm actually gonna have a bonus question that I'm gonna throw in here as well. With that, let's get started. Okay, is life insurance taxable in Canada? The short answer is no. Life insurance is tax-free. You don't need to report it on your income. There's not much more to say about it than that. However, there are a few circumstances where it can be taxable and there can be maybe a situation where taxes do occur. So there's three situations which I'll go into right now, so let's just get into them. So number one is if your estate is the beneficiary for your life insurance policy, or, and this is where it can kind of get a little bit complicated, if you have a beneficiary that you named in your life insurance policy, but they pass away before you and there's no contingent beneficiary, well then your estate by default becomes the beneficiary, okay? Now, the life insurance isn't necessarily taxable when it goes into your estate. However, once it's in your estate, it's tied to the obligations of that. So if you're not familiar with what an estate is, essentially when you die, everything that you own is deemed disposed of, meaning that it's like we sold it, but we didn't really sell it, okay? And then it gets formed into this estate, and at the end, the CRA is gonna say, okay, well, you had a house and you had investments and RSPs and the cottage that you have as well, and maybe you own shares in a business, and maybe you own shares in Microsoft and all these other things, and they're gonna deem it disposed of, even though you didn't really sell it, maybe you just wanted to gift it to your children or whatnot. But at that point, the taxes are gonna be due on that final estate. And if the life insurance policy gets paid into the estate, it's now attached to that, meaning that the obligations of that estate need to be fulfilled before the life insurance can be paid out. So that's one example of when it could be, the life insurance isn't actually taxable, but it could come into a scenario where taxes need to be paid on that before you can use that money. The second way that it might become taxable, or actually will become taxable, is if you have a permanent life insurance policy and you surrender this policy, or you take a large policy loan against the policy. In those two examples, it will be taxable 100%. So it's not necessarily if the death benefit is taxable, but if you surrender it, meaning you cancel the policy, that will become a taxable event. And the third example, and I hope I'm not getting too complicated for you guys. Of course, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'd love to answer them. The third example is if you have permanent life insurance in a corporation. Now, corporate life insurance is totally different than if you own it as an individual. And I made a video, by the way, about corporate life insurance. If you're a business owner and you want your business to pay for the life insurance as opposed to paying for it personally, I have a video and I'll put it there. I believe it's there. No, you know what? It's actually there. It's actually there. It's on the left. I remember now. It's on the left. So watch that video and you'll get a better idea of how corporate life insurance works. But if you have permanent life insurance in a corporation, there may be an event where you're not able to pay out the entire death benefit out of the corporation tax-free, there may be a portion that is taxable. So generally, life insurance is not taxable. However, sometimes it can be taxable. By the way, if you guys are interested in getting free, instant online life insurance quotes, and you can have the ability to apply online, visit affinitylife.ca. I'll put the link in the description below and you can click that. View quotes, apply online, go check it out. It's good stuff. So I mentioned I'd have a bonus question for you guys that I will have answered, and that is life insurance tax deductible? Meaning, can you write off the expense of your life insurance, which would be awesome if we could do that all the time. Again, the short answer is no, you cannot write off life insurance premiums. However, there are situations, and actually not situations, situation, singular, where you can actually write off life insurance premiums, okay? And that is, and this is the same if it's an individual or a business, that is if the life insurance is a requirement of a loan. So if you're a business or if you're an individual and you go to the bank and you say, I wanna get a loan for $100,000, and they say, sure, absolutely, but just to secure the loan, we want you to get life insurance because we're just afraid that something might happen, you might pass away, and we wanna make sure that we get paid back if you die. In that example, the life insurance premiums can be deductible. And by the way, the bank actually needs to write a letter stating that it is a requirement. It's not just like a verbatim thing. It's not like they can say, yeah, sure, you can get life insurance. They need to actually write a letter saying that this is a requirement of the loan and we will not give you the loan without it. So that's the first stipulation. And now the second, the amount of life insurance that can be written off, the premium, is directly prorated to the amount of the loan, meaning that if you have a policy for $500,000, but your loan's $100,000, you're only able to write off 20% of that premium because they only require $100,000 and your life insurance policy is $500,000. And then the third thing is it's not the entire premium that you can write off. It's actually only something known as the NCPI, which is an acronym in the insurance industry that stands for the net cost of pure insurance. And in layman's terms, all this means is that's the true cost to the insurance company. Not what you pay as a consumer, but the true cost that the insurance company has allocated to your age, your health status, your mortality. That's their true cost. That's the portion that you can write off, and you get that information by writing into your carrier and requesting them for what your NCPI is in that year. That's the amount that you can write off. So it's usually, I shouldn't say it's very small, but it's only a portion of the whole premium, and it's only for a very specific circumstance, and of course once the loan is paid off, it's no longer a requirement. The second way that you can actually write off premiums for an insurance policy is for charity. Now, charitable giving using life insurance can get a little bit complicated, but real quickly, there's two different ways that you can do it, and of course, again, it's for an individual and for a business owner. For an individual, it becomes a tax credit, meaning that it will lower your overall taxes. So if you had to pay, let's say $1,000 in taxes and you had a $200 tax credit, your taxes payable would become $800. Now that's different from a tax deduction. A tax deduction will lower your amount of income that the taxes are based upon, okay? So it's a tax credit for individuals and a tax deduction for businesses. And there's two different ways that you can do it. The first way is you can actually gift your policy to the charity, which means you actually transfer ownership of that policy over to the charity. You say, I have this policy, I want you to own it, and you essentially gift it to them, and you'll receive either a tax credit or a tax deduction to the business or to the individual. The second way to do it is to then designate them as the beneficiary. So you're not actually giving them anything while you're alive, but when you die, they're gonna receive the death benefit, and then the business or the individual will receive that corresponding tax credit or tax deduction. So I hope that didn't get too complicated. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this content, all I ask is that you give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions about this, just throw them down in the comments. I love talking about this stuff. Let me know. I'm happy to chat. With that, I'll see you guys in the next one. And that's when the life insurance, actually, hang on here. I can't remember what it was now. I'll just start over again.